वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। You can repeat after me from the first shloka onwards. अथ प्रथमोऽध्यायः धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय। सञ्जय उवाच दृष्ट्वा तु पाण्डवानीकम् रूढं दुर्योधनस्तदा आचार्यमुपसंगम्य राजा वचनमब्रवीत्। पश्यैतां पाण्डुपुत्राणाम् आचार्यमहतीं च मूं
आचार्यमहतीं च मूं
युधां द्रुपदपुत्रेण
यूधां द्रुपदपुत्रेण
तव शिष्येन धीमता
तव शिष्येन धीमता
अत्र शूरा महेश्वासाः
अत्र
शूरा
शूरा
महेश्वासाः
महेश्वराः
भीमार्जुनसमायुधि
भीमार्जुनसमायुधि
युयुधानो विराटश्च
युधानो विराटश्च
तश्च महारथः
द्रुपदश्च महारथः
दृष्टकेतुश्चेकितानः
दृष्टकेतुश्चेकितानः
काशीराजश्च वीर्यवान्
काशीराजश्च वीर्यवान्
पुरुजित् कुन्तिभोजश्च
कुन्तिभोजश्च
शैब्यश्च नरपुङ्गवः
शैब्यश्च नरपुङ्गवः
युधामन्युश्च विक्रान्तः
युधामन्युश्च विक्रान्तः
उत्तमौजाश्च वीर्यवान्
उत्तमौजाश्च वीर्यवान्
सौभद्रो द्रौपदेयाश्च
सौभद्रो द्रौपदेयाश्च
सर्व एव महारथाः
सर्व एव
महारथाः.
Up to this we have seen. The last shloka was sixth shloka. Now you can mute your mic. Sixth shloka we have seen. These are the vachanams. Vachanam of Duryodhana. These are the vachanams. Starting from the third shloka onwards. Duryodhanaha uvacha. Even though it is not mentioned, Duryodhanaha uvacha, but these are the words of Duryodhana. Duryodhana, he first gives a description of the Pandava army. Then, from the next shloka, we will talk about his army. Description of his army. So, sixth shloka done. Now, seventh shloka. From seventh shloka onwards, he will give an introduction about the army of the Kauravas. So, seventh shloka we can read. Asmakam tu vishishtaye
अस्माकं तु
विशिष्टाये
निबोध द्विजोत्तम
तानि बोध द्विजोत्तमः
नायका मम सैन्यस्य
नायकस्य
संज्ञार्थं तान् ब्रवीमि ते
संज्ञार्थान् ब्रवीमि ते.
You can mute your mic. So Duryodhana says, Duryodhanaha uvacha. Kamprati, he approaches Acharya, Dronacharya. So he says these words to Dronacharya. And he addresses Dronacharya by a word, by a particular word in this shloka. Dvijottama. Hey Dvijottama. Hey Dvija. Dvija means twice born. The one who is born twice. Who is born twice? The birth is not a physical birth. Twice born, that means the one who has got two birth. The birth is not a physical birth, but a birth in terms which happens in you because of the samskara. What samskara? Upanayana samskara. It means, Dvija means the one who is invested with the sacred thread, Upanayana. Brahmana. Brahmana ityartha. Dvijottama. Not only Brahmana. All the three Varnas have Upanayanam. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. But here, Dronacharya is a Brahmana. Brahmana Kshatriya. By birth he is a Brahmana. But by profession he is a Kshatriya. Because he teaches archery. So by birth he is a Brahmana. Therefore, Duryodhana addresses Acharya as He Dvija Uttama, Dvijanam Uttama. Uttama is great. Great among the twice born. That is Brahmanas. You are great among the Brahmana. You are great among the greatest, the learned among the Brahmana. He, ho, the one, the greatest among the Brahmana. He Acharya. Dvijottama is Acharya. Is addressing using the word Dvija Uttama, Dvijottama. So maybe he reminds, Duryodhana reminds Dronacharya that he is a Brahmana, not a Kshatriya, not a born Kshatriya. By birth he is a Brahmana. So he reminds, so this is a war field. So here you have to fight. Because Dronacharya, master of archery, master of warfare, but he has not fought any war like the Kshatriyas. Maybe this is his first war, therefore Duryodhana reminds, this is a war. This is a war. You may be an expert in archery, but this is a real situation. So here you have to take the weapon and fight really. This is a practice. This is not theory. So far, you have been doing theoretical class, but now the practical situation, practical has come. And therefore he is addressing Dvijottama. The word has got so many things hidden, the implications. And the word Dvija, let us see the word Dvija. We'll talk about the word Dvija. Dvija means the born, twice born. The Dvija can, meaning twice born, it could be a physical birth also. Physical birth, not for the human being, but for the birds. The birds and all, how they come into existence, it is born from the egg. First the egg comes, from the egg only, the chick comes. So they are twice born. So the birds and other beings, they are all Dvija, twice born. Similarly, a Brahmana also is twice born. First is a regular birth. The regular birth from the mother, from the womb of the mother. That is the first birth, first janma. The second janma is in the form of initiation into the Gayatri mantra at the time of Yajnopavitam. That is the second birth for a Brahmana. So a Brahmana has got two janma. The second janma is for him when he is invested with the sacred thread. What is the importance of that? Janmana jayate shudraha samskarat bhaved dvijaha. That Upanayanam is a samskara. Samskara karma. It is a karma, samskara karma. It is meant for refining the person. A person, when he is born, when he grows, without samskara, the person will be a prakrita purusha, unrefined person. If he is not given any samskaras, if he is not taught the Gayatri, if he is not invested with the sacred thread for the initiation into Gayatri, Upadesha can be given only when Upanayanam is done. After Upanayanam only. After Upanayanam only, a person can study Veda. So if Upanayanam is not done, then the exposure to Veda Vedas cannot happen. So the first step to getting exposed to Veda is Upanayana. Therefore, it is the important samskara. So, by birth, we are all Prakrita Purusha, unrefined people. By samskara, we become refined people. Like a raw material, when it is taken from the earth, it is unrefined. You cannot use it as it is. You cannot use the iron ore as it is. The iron ore is impure, so it has to be made pure. It has to undergo refining process. Similarly, a person also must undergo certain samskaras in life to become fit, to become a fit person to interact with the society. Without refinement, if he continues to be a Prakrita Purusha, it is difficult for the person, and also it will be a problem for the society. Therefore, these samskaras are important. No compromise on these samskaras. Upanayana samskara and other samskaras, there are about more than 40 samskaras. All these samskaras are important samskaras. And Upanayanam is considered to be important in the sense because it is the second janma for a Brahmana as well as for the other two varnas. So, Upanayanam is the license for entry into the study of the Veda and the initiation into the Gayatri. So that refines a person. And being a Brahmana, here Dronacharya, therefore Duryodhana addresses Dvijottama. And also maybe he may be praising Duryodhana also because he has a knowledge of the Shastra and he also has a knowledge of Shastra. So he has got knowledge of two Vidyas, both Shastra as well as Shastra. He knows Veda as well as he knows how to handle the weapons. Both he knows. So therefore he remains that he has undergone samskara. Upanayana samskara is a Brahmana iti. So the samskara is important. This is a famous shloka. Janmana jayate shudraha samskarat bhavet dvijaha. By samskara only a person become a dvija, twice born. The job of mother is only to give the birth of child. There it stops. But after that, how the child grows, that Veda takes care. The Vedic scheme of life takes care of that by samskara. Veda patat bhavet vipraha brahmajanati brahmanaha. Who is a Brahmana? This shloka says. The one who knows Brahma is called a Brahmana. Whoever, maybe whichever may be the Varna. But if the person knows Brahma, then he is a Brahmana. For that, this samskara, initiation into the Gayatri and Veda Patanam, all these are important. That makes a person a refined person, a fit person, an eligible person to live in the society so that he can live and he can contribute. He can contribute for the knowledge, he can contribute for the well-being of the society by teaching dharma and all. So therefore, samskara is important. And here the Dronacharya is by birth, he is a Brahmana, and now he is in the Kurukshetra, ready to fight with the Pandavas. So therefore, Duryodhana addresses, He Dvijottama, Dvijanam Uttama, Dvabhyam Janma Samskarabhyam Jayate iti Dvijaha. By Janma Samskarabhyam, born because of Janma and Samskara. Janma first, Samskara second. By which the one who is born is called Dvijaha. And Dvijanam Uttamaha, greatest among the Dvijas, Dronacharya. He Dvijottama, Dvijottama addresses Asmakam tu Vishishtaha ye Asmakam tu Vishishtaya Mama Sainyasya Nayakaha Tan Sanyartam Tan Niboda. Niboda Sanyartam Tan Bravimi. Aham Bravimi, I say. I tell you, agam brevimi. I tell you what? Tan brevimi. I tell you them. I'll give you the list of the people who are on our side. Tan niboda. May you please know. Who are they? Vishishtaha. Asmakam. Asmakam means our side. Asmakam. Vishishtaha. Vishishtaha means special people, distinct people, important people. Vishishtaha. So on our side, those special people, with the warriors, Mama Sainyasya, my Sena, he says Mama Sainyasya, my army. So Vishishtaha Mama Sainyasya. Ye Mama Sainyasya Vishishtaha, those who are distinct, special people in my army, of my army, those Nayakaha, Vishishtaha Nayakaha, the leaders. Nayakaha means the leaders, heroes. The heroes, the special heroes, important heroes of my army, Tan, them, Niboda. You please make a note of those Vishishtaha, those Vishishtaha Nayakaha. You please take a note of the warriors on our side. It means he's going to tell, Te Sanyatam Tan Brevimi. Te Sanyartam, for your knowledge, for information, I mentioned them. I mentioned their names. Iti Duryodhana, now he says, is going to give the list of people on his side. So Mama Sainyasya ye Vishishtaha Nayakaha Tan Niboda Sanyartam Tan Bravimi. So I tell them for your information. Sanyartam means for your information. I introduce them. Te Sanyartam Bravimi. Te means to you. To you, te, to you, Sanyartam Tan Bravimi. For your information. For te Sanyartam, for your information. Tan refers to this Nayakan, Vishishtan Nayakan. Bravimi, I tell, I mention. So I mention them for your information. Iti Duryodhana says. This is the 7th shloka. Then from the 8th shloka, he gives the list of names on his side. We will read the 7th over number 8th shloka. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha
Bhavan Bhishmascha
Karmascha
Kripascha Samitinjayah
Kripascha Samitinjayah
Ashvathama Vikarnascha
Ashwathama Vikarnascha
Saumadattis Tathaivacha Saumadatis Tataivacha is there, and Saumadatis Jayadratha also is a Patabeda. Saumadatis Tataivacha is one reading. Another reading is Saumadatir Jayadratha. That also is another reading. The next shloka also we will read. Anye cha bhagavashuraha Madarte tyakta jivitaha Nana shastra praharanaha Sarve yuddha visharada So he says, Duryodhana says, Bhavan asti, for people of my army, you are there. First he takes the name of Dronacharya, Bhavan. Bhavan is with respect. When somebody is senior or elder, deserves respect, you need to address them Bhavan or Bhavati if it is Strilinga, not Tvam. So Bhavan, you, that is you with respect. So while describing his army, Duryodhana starts with the name of Dronacharya. Even though Bhishma is the chief, commander in chief of the army, but he gives importance to Dronacharya because he knows Bhishma is committed to protect the Astinapuram, so he knows he will fight. But with regard to Duryodhana, maybe he had some doubt. So therefore, first he takes the name of Dronacharya. Bhavan Asti, you are there. Duryodhana says, Bhavan Asti, Bhavan. Then Bhishma. Bhishma comes later only. Bhavan, Bhishma. Some commentators say Duryodhana takes the name of Dronacharya first because Dronacharya could be disloyal to his army. He has that samshaya. Therefore, he approached Dronacharya, and therefore also only it takes his name first, Bhavaniti. With regard to Bhishma, he had confidence. So it takes the name of Bhishma second, even though Bhishma is the senior and also the commander of the army. He must have taken Bhishma Asti, but he didn't say that. Bhavan, Bhishma. Then he takes Karna, the friend of Duryodhana. Then Kripascha, Bhavan, Bhishmascha, Karnascha, Kripascha. The next person is Kripacharya. Kripacharya is the brother of the wife of Dronacharya. Dronacharya's wife is Kripi. So his brother is Kripacharya, one of the Chiranjeevi. So Kripacharya, and he is Samitinjayaha. Samiti means the war. He is always victorious. He is always victorious in the war. He never got defeated. So Samitinjayaha. So Bhavan, Bhishmascha, Karnascha, Kripascha, Samitinjayaha. Samitinjayaha, Kripascha. So Kripa, who is always victorious, he is also on our side. Then Ashwathama, son of Dronacharya, Ashwathama. He is also considered to be one of the Chiranjeevi. Ashwathama, Vikarna. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhana, son of Dhritarashtra. Like Vibhishana in Ramayana, similarly Vikarna in Mahabharata. Vikarna is an honest person, righteous person. So, even though he was righteous, but still he has taken the side of Kaurava because of being committed to the Duryodhana and the Kaurava. Therefore, he is on the side of the Kaurava. In fact, he was a person who was against when Draupadi was insulted in the Kaurava Sabha. So Vikarna is there. Then Saumadatti, Saumadattir Tataivacha. Saumadatti, the son of Somadatta. The son of Somadatta is called Saumadatti. Son of Somadatta. Somadattayaha. Somadatta is a name. All these names are we use for examples. Somadatta, Agnidatta. So Somadatti. Son of Somadatta is Saumadatti. It's a Tadita. Somadatta becomes Saumadatti. Then Tataivacha or Jayadratha. Jayadratha, we know. Jayadratha is another important person. Another important person is on the side of the Duryodhana. Jayadratha is the husband of Dushala, that is Duryodhana's sister. He was an important person. He was the main person who killed Abhimanyu. by blocking the Vyuha. He was skilled person and he blocked the Vyuha, the Chakra Vyuha when Abhimanyu was caught inside. So he stopped the Pandavas from entering into the Chakra Vyuha and he killed him. He and others, the Kauravas, they killed Abhimanyu. That is why Arjuna, he took a vow that he will kill Jayadratha the very next day before the sun sets. And he killed him also. So Jayadratha. All these are great warriors. Anyecha, the next shloka. Anyecha Bhagavashuraha. The name's a long name. It's a long list. Therefore, Duryodhana doesn't mention all the names. He says, Anyecha. Anyecha Bhagavaha Shuraha. Bhagavaha many. Other many. Anye means other. Many other Shuraha warriors. Warriors are there. Many other warriors are there. Madarte tyakta jivitaha. Madarte tyakta jivitaha. Madarte, for my sake. For my sake, tyakta jivitaha. Tyaktaha jivitaha. Yesham. The one who are given up their life. Who are given up their life. Why did they? The war has not yet started. Why did he say that they had given up their life? Probably Duryodhana. The words of Duryodhana itself shows that Duryodhana had the doubt whether he could win. The words of Duryodhana itself shows some doubt with regard to the result being favor on his side. So, Tyakta Jivitaha means they are ready to fight. He should have said that they are ready to fight and bring victory to us. He didn't say that. Even the words of Duryodhana, it's taken to be a sign that the defeat is bound to come for Kauravas. Tyakta Jivitaha. We should not say they have given up their life. They are ready to fight and bring victory to us. Being in the army, one need not give up his life. One should take up the life of the opponents. And one should continue to be alive. Continue to be alive. Being alive, taking the life of other people, of opponents. That is the lakshanam of a hero, an army man. So, therefore, need not give up their life. Giving up the life is the ultimate sacrifice that only when required. But the person should take up the life of the opponent, the enemies. But here Duryodhana says, Tyakta Jivitaha, they have given up their life. It means they probably knows that they are going to die. All these are the negative signs, the omen, the negative signs which indirectly comes through the mouth of Duryodhana. So, Tyakta Jivitaha, Madarte, Anya Shuraha, the other warriors who are on my side, who are on my army, they are ready, they are given up their life. It says they are given up their life for my sake. Darte Tyaktaha, given up. Not that they will give up, they have given up. Because they have come to the battlefield, therefore they are given up. And they are all great people. Nana Shastra Pragranaha. They are great people who knows how to handle the weapons. Nana Shastra Pragranaha Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha. Nana Shastra. Nana is many, varied. Bahuni. Nana Vidani. Shastrani. Different weapons. Shastra is weapon. Shastra means the weapon with which you fight, which you hold in your hand, you fight. Shastram, like sword, knife, etc. Astram is that which is thrown, a missile, Prithvi missile, Agni missile. It's a missile which is thrown, surface to surface missile. They're called Astra. As, to throw. Shastra is that which you hold in your hand and fight. That's called Shastra. Both are Napumsakalinga. Shastrani, Astrani. Nana Shastrani. Nana Vidani Shastrani. Different weapons. Kadgadini. Swords, etc. Pragranaha. Pragranaha means they have different kinds of weapons. Praharana. Harana is to kill. So Praharana Sadhanani Prakarana sadhanam. That is, the shastras are the sadhanam. They are the tools for prakaranam, for killing. So, nana shastra prakaranaha means they disqualify the people. The people who have the different kinds of weapon, dangerous weapon. Who have these different kinds of dangerous weapon, killing weapons. Nana shastra prakaranaha. Sarve, all these people are visharadaha. Visharadaha means they are experts. Experts in what? Yuddhe. Yuddha karmani vishishtaha. Yuddha karmani visharadaha vishishtaha. They are experts in the warfare, in yuddha. They are the wielder of terrible, dangerous weapons, and they are skilled in the warfare. So, nana shastra prakaranaha sarve yuddha visharadaha bhagavaga shuraha madarte tyakta jivitaha. So, shuraha pratama vibhakti bhagavachanam. Shuraha, shurau, shuraha. For that, these words are qualifiers. Sarve, that is also pratama vibhakti bhagavachanam. Yuddha visharadaha, also pratama vibhakti bhagavachanam. All these are qualifiers, qualifying the shuraha, bhagavaga shuraha, many warriors. So, nana shastra prakaranaha sarve yuddha visharadaha bhagavaha shuraha madarte tyakta jivitaha santi. Santi we can supply always. Santi we can supply. So the anvayam will be like this. Nana shastra prakaranaha sarve yuddha visharadaha shuraha anye bhagavaha madarte tyakta jivitaha. For my sake they have given up their life. Iti. Then continuing the next shloka, number 10. You can read. Aparyaptam tadasmakam
तदस्माकं
balam bhishmabhirakshitam
बलं
बलं
भीष्माभिरक्षितं
पर्याप्तं त्विदमेतेषाम्
पर्याप्तं द्विदमेतेषां
बलं भीमाभिरक्षितम्
बलं भीमाभिरक्षितं.
This shloka can be interpreted in two ways because of the word paryaptam, aparyaptam. I'll give both the interpretation. So now it's Duryodhana, he compares because he has listed the names of Pandavas and listed the names of the great people on his side. Now he compares. He compares both the sides, not individually, in total. Taking the force, taking the force, the army, the amount of army on both sides. Now he does a comparison. He says, Aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishma bhirakshitam. Balam means force, army. Balam means bhujabalam, the strength of the bhuja. But here bala is army, sainyam, anikam, chamum. That's the meaning of the word balam here. Balam is army. Asmakam balam. My asmakam is ours. Our army. Bhishma bhirakshitam. Bhishmena abhirakshitam. Protected by Bhishma. Rakshadatu. Raksh means to protect. Rakshati. Asmakam balam. Asmakam sainyam. Bhishmena abhirakshitam. Protected by Bhishma. Bhishma bhirakshitam. Bhishmena abhirakshitam. It's a samasa, compound word. So Bhishmena abhirakshitam. Abhitaha rakshitam. Abhitaha palitam. Protected on all sides. Protected on all sides. Abhitaha rakshitam. Abhirakshitam. Asmakam balam. Our army, which is protected by Bhishma, Bhishmacharya, aparyaptam. Aparyaptam means that which cannot be overwhelmed. Aparyaptam. Aparyaptam means it is huge. It is doesn't have a limit. That's the meaning. Aparyaptam, no limit. It is vast. It is huge. Aparyaptam because Duryodhana had 11 Akshogini and Pandavas had only 7. So the ratio is 11:7. On the side of Duryodhana, there were 11 Akshogini and Pandava had only 7. What is an Akshogini? Akshogini is a division of the army. Division of the army having 21,870 chariots, 21,870 elephants, 65,610 horses, and 1,09,350 infantries. These put together make one Akshogini. So like that, Duryodhana, he had 11 Akshogini. So you can imagine how many people were there, how many heads were there in the army. And on the side of Arjuna, there were only 7. Only 7 Akshogini. And we have seen one Akshogini was protected by Satyaki, that the disciple of Arjuna. So 11:7, the ratio. Therefore, Duryodhana says, our army is huge. It is aparyaptam, it is vast, it has no limits, it is unlimited army, which is protected by Bhishma. So, asmakam balam, Bhishma birakshitam asmakam balam aparyaptam. The force the army offers, which is protected by Bhishma, is unlimited, vast. Whereas, paryaptam tu idam etesham balam bhima birakshitam. Etesham, it's a pronoun referring to the army of the Pandavas. Etesham Pandavanam balam. Etesham is equal to Pandavanam, the sons of Pandu. Balam, the force. Etesham balam. Pandavanam balam tu, whereas the force of the Pandava, which is protected by Bhima. Bhima birakshitam. Duryodhana had only Bhima in his mind, therefore he says Bhima. The commander-in-chief of the Pandava is Drishtadyumna. But Duryodhana, he remembers only Bhima, therefore he says Bhima. And Bhima protects the army. Bhima bhirakshitam. Bhimena abhirakshitam. Abhitaha palitam. Bhimena. The army of the Pandavas, which is protected by Bhima, it is paryaptam. It is paryaptam. It means it is limited, cannot be, it can be overwhelmed, it can be defeated because it is only 7 Akshogini. Therefore it is limited. Our army is unlimited. It's a huge army. This is the first meaning. Taking the meaning of the word paryaptam, aparyaptam. Another meaning also people take for the meaning for the word paryaptam. For the word paryaptam, that meaning generally we don't take because that is not the appropriate here contextually, because there's a comparison of both the armies. When there is a comparison, then the army of the Kaurava is huge. It is huge, it is unlimited, it is unsurmountable. That is the meaning we can take. Whereas the Pandava of the army is limited army. That is the meaning we can take. But there is another meaning, that is, our army, aparyaptam, the meaning of the word paryaptam is sufficiency. Another meaning of the word paryaptam is sufficiency. So aparyaptam means not sufficient, insufficient. So asmakam balam Bhishma bhirakshitam aparyaptam, when we say our army which is protected by Bhishma is insufficient. Even though it is protected by Bhishma, it is insufficient. even though it is protected by Bhishma, it is not sufficient because the Duryodhana is worried about the warriors of the Pandava side. Whereas Pandava army is paryaptam, it is sufficient. Even though the Akshoginis are less, but they are sufficient for them to defeat us. Even though our army is protected by Bhishma, it is insufficient. Even though Pandava armies are less in number compared to us, but it is sufficient for them to defeat us. Even protected by Bhima, that is also we can take that meaning. Even protected by Bhima, their army is sufficient to defeat us. So this meaning also is given for this. But this meaning we don't take. This meaning some acharyas give because Duryodhana knows very well he is on the side of Adharma. Therefore, he was feeling defeated. And Pandavas were very confident about the winning the war because Lord Krishna is on their side. Therefore, Duryodhana, there was a doubt in the mind of Duryodhana. Therefore, he says paryaptam, aparyaptam. He does a comparison and says that his army is not that much capable or efficient to defeat the Pandavas. Iti, one meaning is given. This meaning also fine. This meaning also we can take, but taking the number of Akshoginis and the Duryodhana also ready to fight has come to the battlefield. Therefore, we take the meaning of paryaptam, aparyaptam as insurmountable. Aparyaptam is unconquerable. It is unlimited. That meaning we can take. Because the previous shloka, we have to see the Purva and Para. What did he say before? Lot of army people, lot of warriors are there on our side. Therefore, when he say lot of warriors on our side, then suddenly he cannot say it is insufficient. He cannot say. Suddenly he cannot say it is insufficient. And also he is talking to Dronacharya. So he tries to motivate Dronacharya, inspire Dronacharya to fight the Pandavas. Therefore, suddenly he cannot say it is not sufficient. So that is why we don't take the meaning of insufficiency for paryaptam. We can take the meaning as paryaptam means limited, aparyaptam is unlimited. So our army is unlimited, whereas the army of the Pandavas are limited only. Protected by Bhima. Iti Duryodhana. He compares the army on both sides. Then the next shloka, number 11. Ayaneshu cha sarveshu
सर्वेषु
yatha bhagam avastitaha
यथा
भागमवस्थिताः
bhishmamevabhirakshantu
भीष्ममेवाभिरक्षन्तु
bhavantas sarva eva hi.
भवन्तः सर्व एव हि
Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yatha bhagam avastitaha. So here Duryodhana says, Bhavantaha sarve, you all, that is including Dronacharya, you all, Bhavantaha sarve, you all, Bhishmam eva abhirakshantu. Bhishma is the asset. So therefore, Duryodhana says, Bhishmam eva abhirakshantu bhavantaha sarve. All of you should protect Bhima, very particularly Bhima. Bhishmam eva abhirakshantu. Even though the army is protected by Bhishma, he says, you all protect the Bhishma. Single-handedly, he can handle the Pandavas. That is why Duryodhana asking Dronacharya, you protect the Bhishma Charya first. How? Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yatha bhagam avastitaha. Yatha bhagam. Bhaga means portion, the division. Remaining in the position. All of them have been given the position. Remaining in the position, sarveshu ayaneshu. Ayana means the path are the divisions. So in all the divisions, remaining in your positions, you all protect the Bhishmacharya. Why Bhishma very particularly? Because if Bhishma is protected, then Jayam is certain for the Kauravas. Jayam is certain. Therefore, Duryodhana says, let Bhishma be protected on all sides by remaining in your position. Bhishmam eva abhirakshantu. Ayaneshu cha sarveshu. Ayaneshu cha sarveshu. Sarveshu ayaneshu yatabhagam avastitaha bhavantaha sarve Bhishmam eva abhirakshantu iti. So ayana means the path, or it could be the divisions also. Ayana means the path, the entry to the entry. The path is the entry into the army. So through which the opponents can enter. So that is the dwara. So you protect the entry by remaining in that position and protect the bhima. Remaining in the entry, you all protect the remaining in the position, you all protect the Bhishma. Iti Duryodhana says. Now these words of Duryodhana asking Dronacharya to protect the Bhishma, these words Bhishmacharya would have heard. Therefore, in order to encourage Duryodhana, in order to motivate Duryodhana, now Bhishmacharya, first person, he blows his conch. He blows his conch saying that I am ready for the war. So Bhishma very well knew that he doesn't need anyone to protect him. He can single-handedly handle the Pandavas. Because of Duryodhana's concern, the concern was a silly concern, and Bhishma want to reassure and encourage Duryodhana. Therefore, he took his conch and blew. He was first person to blow the conch. The next shloka we can read, number 12. Tasya sanjanayan harsham.
Tasya sanjanayan harsham.
Guruvriddhah pitamahaha.
Guruvriddhah pitamahaha.
Singhanadam vinadyochaihi.
Simhanadam vinadyochaihi.
Shankam dadmau pratapavan.
Shankham dadam pratapavan.
So with the previous words, the words of Duryodhana are over. From this shloka onwards, these are the words of Sanjaya. So Bhishmacharya, having heard the words of Duryodhana, that Duryodhana wanted to protect him. So therefore, to motivate him, he took his conch and blew. So these are the words of Sanjaya. Sanjaya Uvacha continues. So now Bhishma Pitamaha. Pitamaha is Pituhu Pita, the father of the father, the grandfather of the Kurus. Kuru Vriddaha, Kurudam Vriddaha, the eldest among the Kurus. Pitamaha, that is Bhishmacharya, who is the eldest among the Kurus, Kuru Vriddaha. So Kuru Vriddaha Pitamagaha, Tasya refers to Duryodhanasya. Tasya refers to Duryodhanasya. Harsham Sanjanayan. Harsham is happiness. Anandam, Santosham. To bring happiness, to create happiness. To bring happiness to Duryodhana. What did he do? Shankam Dadmau. Dadmau is equivalent to Latlakara Damati. Damati we know, that's why Damati. It's a Litlakara. Dadmau is Litlakara. So Dadmau. He blew. What did he blew? Shankam. He blew the conch. Dadmau blew. Remote past. So if you don't know Litlakara, you can just take it as Damati. He blows. Present tense. Blows. He blows the conch. Who is that? Pitamaha, Kuruvriddaha, Pratapavan. Prakarshena tapayati. One who can scorches the enemy. Tap means to scorch. Pratapavan means valorous, who can scorch. who can scorch the enemy by his valor. Pratapavan. So Pratapavan, Bhishmacharyaha, Pitamagaha, Kuruvruddhaha, all are the same vibhakti. So Pitamaha is qualified by these words. Shankam Dadmau, blow the conch. Singanadam Vinadya Uchchahi. Uchchahi Shankam Dadmau. Ucha means louder, loudly you blew the conch. And how was the conch? Before blowing the conch, he roared like a lion. Singanadam Vinadya, roaring like a lion. He roared, he made a garjana and then blew the conch. Because he has heard the words of Duryodhana and Duryodhana understood the worry of Duryodhana. Therefore, like a lion, he roared first. Singanadam Vinadya, Singam Iva, Garjitva, Uchchaihi Shankam Dadmo. He blew his conch loudly. Blow his conch loudly. Singanadam Vinadya. Singanadam means, Singa is lion. Nadam means sound. So, roaring like a lion. First he roared, then Vinadya. Vinadya means making. Vinadya. Nad means to say, but with V upasarga, it means Vinadya means having done. Vinadya, having done, making. Krutva. So, roaring like a lion. Roared like a lion, and then he blew his conch. Then afterwards, the other instruments of the army, they all will blow. The army people will blow their respective instruments, and there will be a huge noise that is going to come. And these are the words of Sanjaya. These are the words of the Sanjaya. So up to the previous verse that Duryodhana words are over. Now Sanjaya Uvacha. So henceforth you will see only Sanjaya. In between Arjuna will come. We will see. Next shloka we will see. We will see that in the next class. We can stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद शरण जी.
धन्यवाद
गुरुजी. धन्यवाद.
धन्यवाद जी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.